I'm making this video about this video I saw on YouTube a few months ago. This guy was gonna make this video where he had this camera attached to his motorcycle helmet. He was gonna drive around the streets of Brooklyn, and he thought it'd be a good video. Well, he's driving around Brooklyn. Okay, I just want to say this: there's 500,000 Hasidic Jews that live in Brooklyn. Okay, that's a lot of people. Okay, that's more than Israel. So, this guy's driving around. All of a sudden, this black car, like this SUV, just comes up in front of him, just blocks the entire fucking road. And he says, "Hey man, what the hell's your problem?" And this Hasidic guy gets out of there and he says, "Hey, we don't want you here." And he says, "You don't want me where?" He says, "We don't want you in this neighborhood. This is our neighborhood." You hearing this? I mean, this sounds like a fucking gang or something. You know what I'm saying, Mom?
Yeah.
It does. It sounds like a fucking gang or something. It really does. You know, the Crip, "Yo man, need my tub, G." That's how these guys are. It's like a gang or some shit. You know? And he says, "You almost ran me over." He says, "Bologna macaroni, my friend." You know? And, excuse you. And all this traffic, this is New York, okay? All the traffic behind him is starting to block up. It's like dozens of cars. And this guy gets out and says, "What the hell's the problem?" And the Jewish guy says, "Get the fuck back in your car, mind your own business." You know? And this angry mob of Jews starts forming, you know, around this guy on the motorcycle. And he says he can't turn around because he's blocked in by his car and the people behind him. He can't just turn around. You know, and this cop gets out, this off-duty cop, he's like a detective or something. He gets up and goes in front of him and asks him what's the problem. And the Jewish guy starts getting all confrontational and stuff. And he calls him an asshole or something. And the guy, like raises his fist at him. He says, "You don't motherfucking talk to me that way, you son of a bitch. I'm an off-duty cop, motherfucker." And all the rest of it. And this race war is starting to brew. Us versus them. Us, Gentiles versus Jews. And it doesn't look good. And this Hispanic guy gets out of the car. He asks the guy, "What's the problem?" And he says they're not letting him through. This Hispanic guy, strong dude, picks up the motorcycle with the guy on it, lifts it up over his head, takes him to the other side of the Jewish car and drops him off there and tells him to go. And he points and says, "Go, just get out of here." And the Jews are sitting there with their jaws dropped, and they're like, he just picked the guy up and took him to the other side. Went through their little barricade. He's like, "Who cares?" And the guy drives off, and the cop is screaming out, "You don't talk to me that way, motherfucking bitch." And it's like this war is forming. The guy just drives off. And the guy only made like 6 videos. But that's like his most watched video. I can't remember it, dude. I'm serious. If any of you know what I'm talking about, yeah. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people, there's another video I've seen, and a lot of people in Brooklyn, this guy's walking down the street, right? He's Israeli or something. And he asked some of the black people, they're like, "What do they think about the Jews there?" And almost every single black person said that they're weird, they're like a gang, how they're just like really territorial. This is my fucking land. These people have lived there longer than these other guys have. And it's like Fritz the Cat. Watch Fritz the Cat. You'll know what I'm talking about. You watch that movie. And it's like all these people unanimously feel that they should just put all the Hasidics on a fucking cargo boat and just ship their ass off somewhere else. You know, it's no different than the Jews getting kicked all around Poland and Germany and stuff. Now I'm starting to understand why they were kicked around. These guys are not Jews. They're not a part of the 12 tribes of Israel. Then who are they? I don't know. They're imposters. These Hasidic people, like 80% of them, are not a part of any tribe of Israel. They're not actually Jewish. Then my question is, then who the fuck are these people? I don't know. They're Polish, Russian, who knows? They might be religiously Orthodox Jews, but they're not Jews. I don't know what they are. They make up all this shit. I mean, the average Jew isn't wearing this black hat with pigtails on their fucking beards, and they're running all over the place speaking in tongues and shit and trying to steal people's money and shit. I mean, that's like there was this one episode of The Sopranos, and they talked about this shit. They talked about these rabbis in Brooklyn, how they're pimps and they got prostitutes and they deal drugs. And then when you go on the internet and you look the stories up, turns out all the shit's true. There's all these rabbis in Brooklyn that are like crack dealers and shit. These people are a fucking gang. They're not Jews, man. They're a fucking gang, man. That's no different than the Nation of Islam over there in Harlem. Those guys are not Muslims. Those guys believe that Khalid Sheikh Mohammed is the real prophet of Allah. The guy ain't shit. He believes that the Quran was written in 1938 instead of like 500 AD or whatever it was. The man's an idiot. That's why Malcolm X left in the 60s. You know, the guy was a pervert. The guy was a pimp. You know? And the same shit's happened over there with the Hasidic Jews in Brooklyn. The pimps, drug dealing. You know, Oprah goes over there, and it's like the only people who know anything are the men, and the women gotta be all covered up and shit, and these people live like it's like the 15th century Poland or something. And I'm like, what the fuck? You know? And then you go over there to Israel. If you watch the movie Bruno, listen to the commentary that Sacha Baron Cohen did in that movie, and he talks about how Hasidic people that same day when he did that one scene, that Hasidic Jews had actually killed somebody because they were wearing a t-shirt, dude. I mean, these people are like a gang. It's like they're fucking nuts, man. Anyway, that's all I got to say. Alright, later, bro.